Welcome back to Words Matter, so let's share some words. Today, I want to talk to you about the word dance. What do you think of when you hear the word dance? I can think of a couple of things. The first thing that comes to mind is just people dancing. My family, they play Just Dance all the time, and it is so much fun just watching them dance. And Allison gets the high scores most of the time, but they all have a great time just dancing. I also think of all the musicals and ballets that I've seen with my husband and how much we've enjoyed watching those shows. I think of the TV show, So You Think You Can Dance. I had a real good time watching that as well. Whenever I watch people dance, not only does it make me happy inside, but I just think about how poetic and how expressive it is when people dance. And I love how whenever there's two people dancing together, they're there for one another and they help to complement one another. And it's really a beautiful thing to watch. Another thing that I think of when I hear the word dance is a song by Bethel called We Dance. I'll put a link to that song in the description box just in case you ever want to give it a listen. That song reminds me of the journey of my life. It reminds me of the times in my life that God has just always been by my side, both in the real highs when I just felt like I could hear God's voice very clearly and I was just having a really good time. And it also reminds me of times in my life where I had some lows and I felt like God was there comforting me during those times. The song itself just reminds me of all these different moments, all these different times that I've gone through with God. And to me, it's like a song, it's like a dance that we have done together. And because of all the things that God has done for me and the times that He's been with me in the past, it does help me as He leads me in whatever dance that we're going to currently do because I can trust Him because He's been there for me in the past. The third thing that the word dance reminds me of is it reminds me of one of my favorite sermons by my pastor, Manly Miller. It's a sermon called Peace in the Storm. It's a really old sermon. Actually, it's not even on video now, but this sermon is basically about how life is not about waiting for the storms to pass. It's about learning how to dance in the rain. So we have these storms of life, we have these hard times in life, but we learn how, despite the storms in life, to have joy in those circumstances. And this one of the main stories in that particular sermon is like Jesus on the boat, and it's Jesus and his disciples, and that storm comes and it's rocking the boat around, and his disciples get afraid and they find Jesus just sleeping in the boat. He's not worried at all. He's just sleeping away. And they're like, Master, help us. And so he quiets the wind, he quiets the waves, and he's like, Why were you afraid? And it seems like a crazy question because, they were in this big storm, but he's like, Why are you so afraid? And in life, whenever hard times come, we have that reaction a lot of times, just being afraid, but we have to learn to live above the circumstances of life. And that's what the sermon was about, learning to live above those circumstances. So, what do you think of when you hear the word dance? I hope that whatever you think of, it puts a smile on your face, and I just hope you have some joy. I'll see you next time. Bye.